Good afternoon. There is no hot water in my shower. I've notified my landlord several times, but he refuses to fix it. Are you able to help? I am not sure what my rights are.
I will need to review your lease to understand how the responsibilities of the landlord and tenant are defined. But in short, unless otherwise agreed to in a writing, your landlord must comply with the requirements of applicable building, housing, and health codes. If there is no specific code in place, they must maintain the plumbing in good working condition and also maintain the roof, windows, screens, floors, steps, porches, exterior walls, foundations, and all the other structural components in good repair.
Great. I actually have a copy of my lease right here.
Okay, after looking at your lease, I do not see any agreement that alters your landlord's responsibility to maintain the plumbing. The first thing you need to do is notify your landlord. You should do this in writing and include your intent to withhold rent if your landlord doesn't make the needed repairs. Be sure to date it, include your full name, the property address, and a description of the issue.
I've already done that. Here's a copy.
Wow, that's a good thing that you kept a copy. The next steps are you need to report the violation to the city or county if outside the city, housing or building inspector. Get a copy of the report. This step is not required, but it is often helpful in resolving the issue. 2. Take pictures and or gather other evidence that you can to support the issue. 3. Deliver a written notice of your intent to withhold rent to landlord. Note: we recommend you send this 7 days before the rent is due, and you need to be current on your rent. The notice must be in writing. You can send it through your normal communication method with your landlord: email or text, hand delivery, or sent by certified mail, return receipt requested. Choosing to mail the notice will help prove the delivery and receipt if you choose to hand deliver. It is a good idea to have someone with you who can serve as a witness of delivery. If the landlord has still not corrected the issue 7 days after receipt of the written notice, you may withhold rent. But if you do withhold rent, it is very important to set that money aside, as you may be required to deposit all due rent into a court registry if your landlord tries to evict you for non-payment.
What if I don't want to let the landlord in my apartment to make the repairs?
Well, you do need to allow the landlord to enter the unit during a reasonable time, usually between 7:30 a.m. and 8 p.m., and with reasonable notice to make repairs, usually 12 hours prior to entry, or sooner in the case of an emergency.
Okay, so it has been a week since I notified the landlord, but the problem still is not fixed.
If the landlord has not materially complied within 7 days and they are not making reasonable efforts to correct an issue outside their control, you can terminate your lease if the unit is uninhabitable. We will need you to send the landlord a notice of your intent to terminate. You may also have a claim for damages. However, if the unit is inhabitable and you want to stay there, you can withhold the rent you owe until the issue is resolved. The best course of action is to make an agreement with your landlord. Again, it is very important to always set the money aside you withheld rent, so that way you may be required to deposit all due rent into a court registry if your landlord tries to evict you for non-payment.
Thank you for all your helpful information. I just have one more follow-up question. If I choose to move out, what happens to my security deposit?
Well, if your landlord intends to keep all or part of your deposit to cover damages in the leased property, they will need to send you a written notice within 30 days. Otherwise, they will need to refund your deposit within 15 days. Please watch our video on this topic to find out more about security deposits.